Latin 3. Your lesson this week is a little longer than last week because you meet 3 times. Again, my advice is to attempt your own translation using the PDF that's supplied and the link to the dictionary, and then go back, not if you don't have to do it all in one day because it is longer, or do it all in one day and then go back and review. You will have a mini Socrative on Wednesday, and then your full Socrative is on Friday. And as you know, I'm always available in the Google Hangout if you have any questions. So, you may remember, we are back in this Council of the Emperor, where all these people are debating this letter that they got from Agricola. We read the whole letter itself before we went into distance learning. Now we're basically hearing a debate about the letter. So last week, somebody basically spoke very disparagingly of Agricola. And he said, even as you may remember, revocandus est et puniendus. He must be recalled and punished. Okay? Now, in today's passage, this Marcus Acilius Glabrio is going to actually step up and defend Agricola. So let's see what happens next. Tum Marcus Acilius Glabrio hoc sententia incensus, okay, incensed. What he's incensed by, this is ablative forms, what he's incensed by is this opinion, namely the opinion of the person who just got done speaking, what we read last week. Here's what he's going to say. Corneli fusque inquit tu sine causa agricolam culpas. Cornelius Fuscus, he's addressing him, so these are vocative forms, okay? Vocative. When you have an ius ending on a noun, the vocative ending is an I. When you have a us ending on a noun or name, the vocative becomes an E. You, what do you do? Look at the sentence. What is going with the to? That's right, the S of culpas. You blame Agricola. What is the manner with which he believes he blames Agricola? Sine causa, without reason. Ei invides, quod res tam splendidas gessit. You envy him. Now, him, you learned the word eum is the vocabulary word that means him. So why do we have him here and the word ei here? Well, ei is dative. In isolation, you could translate the word ei as to him or to her, for him or for her. Here, the verb invides takes a dative object. Dig all the way back to stage 11 when we first learned the verbs fauet and credit, and they took dative objects. Here's another verb that does so. You envy him. Why? Because, quod. Because, gessit, he has achieved. What has he achieved? Res tam splendidas. The word tam means so many or so much. He has achieved so many splendid things. Equidem valde gaudeo Caledonios superatos esse. Remember, this is still Glabrio speaking. Equidem, indeed. I rejoice, gaudeo. It's always worth reviewing that the O means I. Valde, you know, as a vocab item, that just means very. And so here you could fill out the answer meaning like, I rejoice greatly, or you could say like, I rejoice very much. Now, boom, folks, we have an indirect statement. What do I rejoice greatly that has happened? I rejoice greatly that the Caledonians superatos esse. We've seen this a number of times as we've been reading in this story. Esse is the infinitive version of est, And so instead of superati sunt, we have superatos esse. I rejoice greatly that the Caledonians have been overpowered. Superatos is the past participle of an active verb, and so remember, past participles of active verbs are passive. Si Hibernia quoque ab Agricola victa erit, totam Britanniam in potestate nostra habebimus. What we have here is what's called a conditional sentence. If this, then that. This particular conditional sentence is called a future most vivid conditional. The hallmark of the future most vivid is that it has two future tense verbs in it. There's going to be different ways to translate this, so let's walk ourselves through an example. Si ad forum ibo, amicum meum salutabo. Okay, so if I literally will go to the forum, I will greet my friend. Remember, bo bis bit bimus bitus bunt. That's the future tense ending on verbs of the first person, or the first conjugation and the second conjugation. So I will greet, I will go. Okay. You could tweak this. Instead of if I will go to the forum, I will greet my friend, you could say if I go to the forum, I'll greet my friend. You could even say I would greet my friend. You could basically tweak it that way. So in this case, if Ireland also, literally erit means will be. But if Ireland also is conquered, victa, conquered by whom? Ab Agricola. By Agricola, what will happen? Habebimus. We will have. What will we have? Totam Britanniam. The whole of Britannia. In potestate nostra. In our power. Absurdum est Agricolam revocare, prius quam Britannos omnino superet. It is absurd to recall Agricola. Prius quam can mean either before or until. It basically means, it's a conjunction that means like before a certain other thing happens. So it is absurd to recall Agricola until he overpowers the Britons. And overpowers them how? Omnino. Omnino is just an adverb that means completely or utterly. Quis nostrorum ducum est melior quam Agricola? Who, okay, here's some genitive plural endings for you. Who of our leaders, who of our leaders est melior, is better? Est melior quam, than Agricola. Now, think for a moment. Why is this statement from Glabrio politically very dangerous? Who of our leaders is better than Agricola? What's Domitian if not a leader? This is very dangerous. He has theoretically just said in the council with the emperor right there that Agricola is a better leader than the emperor himself. This is the kind of stuff that made it so dangerous in the Roman Empire. One wrong word and a person could find themselves basically executed by the end of the day. Quis dignior est triumpho? Who, now if dignus means worthy, dignior means who is more worthy. And you're worthy of something in the dative, by the way. Who is more worthy of a triumph. Now, a triumph was like a ticker tape parade, okay? It cost like a lot of money to even throw one, and they did not throw them for basically little things. A triumph was like done when you conquer an entire new country. And so Glabrio is actually saying we should have a triumph for Agricola when he comes back. And again, politically dangerous, because when you're the emperor, no one else gets a triumph. Ceteri, audacia Glabrionis obstupefacti, oculos in imperatorem defixos tenebant, nec quicquam dicere audebant. The others, comma, obstupefacti, amazed. What were they amazed by? Here's an ablative. They were amazed by the boldness of Glabrio, genitive singular ending here. They can't believe that Glabrio actually said this out loud with the emperor in the room. So what were they doing? Tenebant. They were holding. What they were holding, here's your object. They were holding their eyes. They were holding their eyes defixos. We actually had this earlier. Remember when somebody was asked their opinion and they were afraid of giving the wrong answer, so they had their oculus humi defixos that we had. They had their eyes fixed on the ground. But now their eyes are fixed in imperatorem, upon the emperor. Nec, nor. Nor, what were they doing? Remember, this looks like the verb to hear or listen, but if instead of an I you have just an E, it's the verb to dare. Nor were they daring. Daring to do what? To say anything. Quam. Domitianus autem, nullum signum dedit, neque odii, neque gaudii, neque invidiae. Domitian, however, what did he do? Dedit. He gave. What he gave was nullum signum. He gave no sign. Now, here are the things he gave no sign of. These are all genitive endings here. He gave no sign, neither of hate nor of joy, nor of envy. Okay? Hate, joy, envy, all genitive endings. Domitian does not want to give the appearance that he in fact is offended by what has just been said. He wants to present himself as being above it all, but nevertheless, here's what's going to happen. Concilio tandem demisso. This is an ablative absolute, okay? Ablative absolute, two ablative endings. Let's review what are our options when we have an ablative absolute. Literally, with the council finally having been dismissed. Okay, that's the literal translation of that clause. But remember, you can always add, instead of that, when the council had been dismissed. Okay, so we keep it passive here. We keep it passive, but we've turned it now into a kind of a real verb. Another option, though, because there's always a logical connection between the ablative absolute and the rest of the verb. In other words, I mean, he's the emperor. He's the one who dismissed the council, right? So you can make it fully active after he had finally dismissed the council. Okay, so all of these are possible correct translations of that ablative absolute. When the council had finally been dismissed, mansit, he remained. Solus, he remained alone in the atrium. And here's what he was doing. Last sentence of our passage. Multa in animo de Glabrione atque Agricola volvebat. Literally, volvebat means to roll something. Multa is the neuter plural. It means many things understood. In animo means like in spirit or in mind. Think for a moment, what would it mean to roll something in your mind? He was rolling many things over in his mind, meaning like you could translate it either to thinking about or considering things or pondering things or wondering things. Those are all possible translations of this idiom. And this idiom is fairly common. Next year in the Aeneid, this comes up, the goddess Juno was rolling things in her mind. He was rolling many things over in his mind day, about Glabrio and Agricola. Okay, so study this passage well and be ready on Friday to answer some questions about it. Have a good week.